Shalom. This is Adesabet One returning with an addition to the study that we've been working on called The Signs of the Times. We look at, as in the days of Noah, who is Noah. We looked at Noah's Ark. We also look at, as in the days of Lot. And what we have discovered, why Hamashiach mentioned those two events that took place in our forefathers' history, was because of the giants, the Nephilim, the bloodline, the second bloodline. All right? Now, I was trying to avoid doing this particular kind of study where I have to show pictures and stuff like that. But I have to show you what we have been indoctrinated to believe is purely innocent, just it's actually nothing really. We see it with our eyes, but we take it in spiritually and it affects us, but we don't even know it. And I'll explain it as we get to that part of the study. Okay, so this study, there are going to be two. This one is called The Rise of the Giants, called the Nephilim. And the second one, that is the last study in this particular series for now, because it was only supposed to be a two-part series, but of course it grows and grows and grows. So the second one is going to be called The Fall of the Giants, called the Nephilim. So we see them rise and we're going to see them fall, because they will fall. They're not here to stay. We are. The chosen of Allah Hayam, we're here to stay. They will be destroyed off the face of this earth for all eternity. All right? So let's get started, because this may be a very long study, depending on how fast we get through those pictures. Now, in the previous 4 studies, we looked at, as in the days of Noah, we did 2 parts for that, as well as Noah's Ark, or Noah's Ark, and as in the days of Lot, who is Lot. From these 4 studies, we came to know the existence of the giants called the Nephilim. We also discovered how they got here and why Hamashiach compared the end times, when he will return for the southern kingdom, to that of the days of Noah and Lot. We came to understand that this comparison was made due to the wickedness of the Nephilim before the flood, after the flood, and even today in our era. The presence of the Nephilim is very evident based on the debaucheries and the depraved lifestyles we're seeing around us today. The narratives, the insanely evil and wicked narratives and agendas. Never seen anything like this 10 years ago. Well, we saw the tip of the iceberg, but then the iceberg is starting to rise out of this sea of wickedness. Now we're seeing it full blown. There's little to no doubt that this evil species is still roaming the earth as we speak. And I'm going to prove it to you. If you think because you're not walking on the streets or in your neighborhood and seeing these gigantic individuals around you, that this is just something in the past and it's done, think again. Because they never left the earth. In fact, the only time they left was when they went through the portal during the flood, or just before the flood began. And then they returned. And since they have returned, they have never left, but they have reinvented themselves. And we can tell who they are based on their actions. Look at the wickedness that you're seeing going on today. Do you think a normal human being, yes, we sin and we do some bad things, but the depth of depravity with these creatures is beyond even the scope of a normal person who's living in sin because of their wickedness and evil nature. And there are no boundaries with them. You know, we have a conscience. If we do something, we feel bad or embarrassed, or we may not want to do it again. And we pray, oh, please don't let me do this again because I don't want to be embarrassed. Not these creatures. They live for embarrassments. In fact, they don't get embarrassed. They thrive on wickedness. They have no shame. You know something, we do feel shame if we do something that we know is wrong. They don't feel it. We have compassion. So we may not want to hurt a person's feelings, furthermore, hurt a person physically. They thrive on hurting people, especially innocent people, little ones, what have you. They thrive on it because they are inherently wicked. From the day that they were born, they are inherently wicked and they are a doomed race. All right. A few things we have to be mindful of: that the Nephilim is a fallen race. Them, their offspring, the fallen age, they're all doomed. And anyone who becomes like them through actions or possession. When I say actions, I'm talking about being influenced to do the things that they're doing. You're barking up the wrong tree. Because just as the judgment is coming against them, it's coming for you too. Don't think you can scamper down that tree and beg for forgiveness in time. Because you don't know when judgment is coming. And you don't know when your judgment is being set. That's why he tells his people, and even a remnant of the Gentiles. It's going to be a remnant of our people anyway, and a remnant of the Gentiles. Stay away from wickedness. If you want the inheritance that he has waiting for us, we need to turn away from wickedness and these abominable creatures and the things that they do, and listening to the things that they say and sing. Stay away from them. They're vile creatures doomed for destruction. They can't give you any advice on how to live, on how to get rich. In fact, they will try to tell you, but the advice that they're going to give to you is going to corrupt you. It's going to cause you to compromise every step of the way. Every step of the way. These are some wicked people. So they're in a fallen race, not capable of receiving salvation from Allah Hayam, as they are doomed for eternal destruction. The stature of the Nephilim has changed drastically in most cases, as they needed to blend in with the common folk, with the populations, without drawing too much attention to themselves. For this reason today, and especially today, we have to be aware of the fact that there are now two different bloodlines on this earth. The bloodline of the Nephilim and the original bloodline that Allah Hayam created. What we are battling today is trying to keep our bloodline pure of Nephilim corruption and interference, more so than anything else. And when I said interference, it's those jibby jabs. They have Nephilim technology in there, and they also have Nephilim genetic material in there. And I already explained in part 2, as in the days of Noah, the purpose of those jibby jabs, it wasn't for no disease. I'm talking about the ones that came out in 2021 for a fake disease. I explained that in detail. Told you the 4 reasons why they brought it out. And now suddenly they're retracting them. Why? Because enough people have gotten them. But they're going to come again. Once the southern kingdom is gone, they're going to come again. It's round 2, and this time it's final. You don't have a choice in the matter. Now they're going to make all the impossible laws. You can't work. You can't do anything unless you have the JB jab, and you have to show proof that you have it. It's coming, folks. We don't want to be here. In fact, we will not be here, thankfully. Praises to the Most High. Ha'olah Yawan. We're not going to be here. The southern kingdom is not going to be here. It's the northern kingdom is going to have to face this music, this demonic music. But the Most High will preserve them as long as they repent and return to Him. And same thing with the remnant of the Gentiles. You gotta go through this now. We've been through the southern kingdom. We've been through a lot in the last few thousand years. So our time on this earth is coming to a close. We will return. But our time of judgment and going through persecutions and tribulations and what have you is coming to an end. We're getting ready to get out of here. So whatever they want to come with, they're fear-mongering. Don't believe them. You trust in the Most High. Keep looking up. Just like Noah, when he was in the ark, he had to look up. We got to keep looking up too. All right, let's move on. The Nephilim bloodline is everywhere, and especially in the high places governing over us. All these presidents and prime ministers and what have you all have Nephilim bloodline. That's why they're so wicked, and they're passing all these stupid laws to erase our rights and create demands and commands. Can't do this, can't do that. Or you do this or else. Take the jibby jab and then you can work and travel. If you don't, you got to quarantine, you got to do this, you got to do that. All these impossible laws. Erasing the rights of parents to parent their own children. All these things they're doing. This is the Nephilim bloodline. And if you notice, they're bringing out professors and doctors and what have you to testify on their behalf. They're Nephilim too. Although a few of them are paid actors. And even fewer are paid, ignorant, foolish people that are speaking out for these creatures because they're paid to do so. Remember what happened back in the day when that fake disease came out? All the doctors and the paramedics and the firemen, they were called the heroes because they were helping to spread the propaganda. Yes, they were. When they were claiming that the hospitals were overflowing with patients, none of the doctors spoke out, or the nurses, or the paramedics. None spoke out. People had to go with their camcorders and what have you, their cell phone, their smartphones or what have you, and recorded the fact that the hospitals were empty, the beds were empty. Paramedics standing by polishing their they're what do you call that thing that they drive, the ambulance, where they're polishing the ambulance. One guy went up to the paramedic, is it true that the hospital is empty? He just laughed and shook his head and walked away. Why? Because they were paid to shut up, not say anything. If you don't say anything, if you don't commit, we're going to double your salary and give you little bonuses here and there. Call this a nice free vacation, a freely paid vacation, because you don't have any work. You don't have anything to do. You come to work, the hospitals are empty. And I know this for a fact because at one point in time I was working for a doctor. And I asked her the truth. And she said, no, nobody ain't coming in sick. But they were paid to shut up. And if they opened their mouth, they will lose their license. They were threatened. And then at the end of the day, the heroes became the zeros. See them protesting. Because now they want them to take the jibby jab. And they're like, we see what is happening to people after they took the jibby jab. They come in sick. And I know this person personally. This person was an athlete. What have you? And you want me to take that poison? No way. Pharmacists and everything. At one point in time, I saw this video of this pharmacist. He come out in the middle, and this was a manager in this well-known supermarket pharmacy. Because you know you have them in the main supermarkets now, right? People lining up for the jibby jab, and she come right out and say, listen folks, I would advise you, don't take this poison. It's killing people. And I, for one, will not be giving it to you. I'm sure she lost her job that same day. She said, I don't care if I lose my job. But I'm not going to feed this poison to any more people. And then when the nurses and the doctors started to stand up against it, then a lot of them started losing their jobs. And that's when they started protesting. They want to give it to people, but they themselves don't want to take it. What happened to the oath that they were supposed to swear to preserve life? And you know this thing is poison, and you're giving it to people. Right? And not only that, people that came in that weren't sick, that probably had just a cough or what have you, they were putting them on ventilators, killing the people. Some of the nurses had a conscience and came out and started recording themselves, bawling their eyes out. This person who didn't need a ventilator, but they put them on a ventilator because the more people that died suddenly from this so-called fake disease because of ventilators and what have you, that particular organization where they kept the people, the sick people, you know what I'm talking about, got money. They were shelling out money left, right, and center. Paying actors and actresses, entertainers to claim that they caught the disease. All of this is Nephilim, the bloodline that is creating all this chaos and confusion, because this is what thrills them. This is where they receive their power. The fear mongering and all that brings power to them. They feast on our fear. And they relish in lies and chaos and confusion. That's why the main spokespeople for this disease, you know who I'm talking about, the head of the disease control center, that one. Can't help but smirk. He couldn't help but smirk and laugh and giggle. Same thing with the Hell's Gate and his managed wife. All right, all of them. Even some of the unknown doctors that claimed that they were the truth truthers, they call themselves. They're coming out to expose the lies. They're all part of it too, controlled opposition. These are all part of the Nephilim bloodline. All of them. And they try to cover both sides of the coin, for and against, to keep us divided, and also to pass out only limited information. This person is giving me information, well, I'm going to take it from them. I'm not going to do my own research. But fortunately for us, there were many other doctors. After a while, their conscience were pricked, and they started to do their own individual research. I know you got these two main companies that were pushing the jab. They made them and they were pushing them. It's all the same poison, but marketed with different names. Now they're coming out and telling, well, we never told you to take it. Can you imagine the nerve? He said, this is definitely Nephilim. They're liars just like their fathers, the fallen angels, right? Anyways, let's read on. So they're governing over us. They're the ones over us. They're the ones in the alphabet agencies all around the world. They're not just in one location anymore. They're everywhere. In the islands, in the islands in the Caribbean, the main continents, everywhere. They have their people. And if you don't play ball, they will take you out. Sudden heart attack or stroke or something. And then they will put someone who belongs to them there. Okay, let's go on. They are used as influencers. That's why we have social media. Champions in sports, in religions, in the educational system. Teaching and indoctrinating the little ones into their perverseness. Not only the little ones, anybody. Whether in elementary school, high school, colleges, universities, what have you. They're indoctrinating everybody now. Because their people are the professors and teachers. Look, I went into the elementary schools in Canada, and almost every one of them got their little rainbow flag. What does that tell you? You go into the school, and at the door where they have the grade of the classroom, next to it, the rainbow. What does that tell you? And then out comes the teacher. And then you understand why. Because the teacher is one of them. Mannish looking woman. Unbelievable. And they're the ones teaching our children. Teaching, well, not our, because I don't have any, but teaching your children. And that's why your children come home mixed up, confused. I tell you, take your children out of these schools. The education that they're teaching children today is not the education that I had when I was growing up. And even though my education was spotty at best, right? At least they were teaching 1 + 1 = 2. No, they're telling the children 1 + 1 = 11. Or anything, any number you want it to be. All right. This is all part of it. They are running the governments, the senates, and what have you. They are the lead actors and popular singers, causing the ignorant masses to idolize them, to want to be like them, and then to seduce them into their corruption. People look at these people, these idols, these entertainers, and they go and they get the surgeries to enhance their lower half at the back. Call it the Brazilian something or whatever, right? They're enhancing their backsides. for lack of better words. All right? And looking like freaks, right? They look like two chicken drumsticks stuck together when you look at their legs and what is behind there. And you see even our own people, our own women, trying to have that same on, oh my goodness, ugly, unshapely shape. Doesn't look normal, doesn't look natural. Why would anyone go and put their health at risk to acquire something bigger like that? That doesn't even, it doesn't make any sense. But the entertainers, they seduce the minds of people. That's what I'm telling you. When you look at, as in the days of Lawat, these people are great influencers. This bloodline. They are great at influencing you. That's what happened in the days of Lawat. And it's happening today again. Telling you can go and get all these surgeries, modifying your body, changing your body, getting implants here, implants there, to look like a freak like them. Putting on makeup, not understanding that they have to go and get the surgeries because they are not who they say they are. They're not women. They are men. And then you have the plastic surgeons making a killing, cutting into people that they should not be, all because of the moolah. They're going to get their reward. Trust me. Let them enjoy the money now. It's blood money. They're going to get their reward. And this is how the minds of people have been raped and seduced by the influence of this bloodline. You want to be like them because you think that is beautiful, then something is wrong with you. Because I look at them and I just want to hurl. They don't look beautiful. They don't look like anything. But you see, the web of deceit has been placed over this world and over the minds of people who indulge in them. All right. Yahshua was instructed to keep away from the nations around them as they were wicked. Allah did not want his people who are called to be holy as he is holy to mingle or intermarry with these nations. So let's look at Debarayam chapter 7, verse 6. For you are holy people unto Yahweh Allah. That's Allah, your Allah, personal. Yahweh Allah have chosen you to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. That's who we are. We're special. We're his special treasure. Yahweh did not set his love upon you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any people, for you were the fewest of all people. But because Yahweh loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, had Yahweh brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Masarayam. Yashraal was warned from the very beginning to stay away from those other nations because of their bloodline. We may not see this information in plain words, but it is information that was clearly inferred. You have to glean this information. Why? Because if you were set on being obedient to Allah Hayam, to follow His commandment, His instruction, then Ruach HaKodesh will explain it as you go along. But because you've set your heart against it, and you like the look of the other nations, and you want to marry in because like some of our people say, I'm talking about our people, Negro people. Oh, I want pretty babies, so that's why I'm going to go into the other races. You don't think that we're pretty already? Yes, because the nations on this earth have nicknames for us. And some people are offended by that. I'm not. I'm proud of who I am. Because if they're insulting me, guess who else they're insulting? Because I'm made in the image of Allah Hayam Yahweh. And once you have that understanding, no matter what they call you, the N word or what have you, call you a monkey, you can just let that be water on a duck's back. Roll right off, because they're not insulting you, they're insulting him. Because you're made in the image of Allah Hayam Yahweh, who is a Negro. Well, he's a spirit, but his son, who is the physical evidence of who he is Negro. His angels are Negroes. When he created Adam and Hawa, they were Negroes. So if they have a problem with us, trust me, they have a problem with him, the Most High, and his son, and his angels. So don't be offended. Don't be offended by them. This is Nephilim influence in some people, possession in others, and just that bloodline altogether. Don't be offended. They don't like us. They try to make it as a skin problem, the color of our skin. But it's not about the skin, the color of our skin. It's about who we are. They know who we are. We didn't know who we were until we came into that knowledge. And now that we know who we are, and we know who Allah Hayam Yahweh is, now we understand it is not about racism. It's about who you are as the chosen. You belong to Allah Hayam Yahweh. So naturally they're going to hate you, but they're going to create all kind of narratives against you, against us. It is a matter of being able to discern through Ruach HaKodesh the real issue that had, or issue that had occurred on the earth, and it started with the Nephilim. When Yahweh Allah Hayak shall bring you into the land where you go to possess it. I forgot to put the chapter and verse. Well, it would be verse 1. But I'll put it in the description. I'll make a note to myself because I didn't put the chapter here, but it is in Debarayam, the book of Deuteronomy. When Yahweh Allah Hayat shall bring you into the land where you go to possess it, and have cast out many nations before you, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. And when Yahweh Allah Hayat shall deliver them before you, you shall smite them and utterly destroy them. You shall make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. He wanted our people, our forefathers, to utterly destroy these 7 nations. Don't have anything to do with them. Neither shall you make marriages with them. Your daughter you shall not give unto his son, nor his daughter shall you take unto your son. Have nothing to do with them, because their bloodline was corrupted. For they will turn away your son from following me, that they may serve other gods. Why? Because they are very persuasive and influential. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you and destroy you suddenly. The reason why Allah Hayam Yahweh gave Yashraal these instructions regarding these 7 nations that were occupying their land, meaning the land of Yashraal, was because of their Nephilim bloodline. Some of them were giants, while others appeared like normal-sized men and women. It was for this main reason why Yahweh wanted to destroy them from off the face of this earth, and without mercy at that. I know some people get very offended when they read the Old Testament when he sent Yashraal to destroy people. This is the reason why. Because it was of this bloodline that he has condemned. They were condemned because they had Nephilim bloodline. Look at what is going on in this world today. You think that you can make peace with Nephilim? They hate anyone that has the bloodline of that Allah Hayam created. Anyone, Jew, I wanted to say Jew, but not Jew, but Yashraal and Gentile. Yashraal and Gentile. They want to corrupt everyone. So you can't make peace with these people, and you can't pray for them either. The fallen angels begged Hanawak to appeal. These are the 200 watchers that sinned. I mean, they all sinned, but they committed abominations on the earth. And they sent Hanawak to appeal to Yahweh on their behalf. And Yahweh was like, no. You sent man to appeal for you. You should be appealing on behalf of man, not the other way around. And he told Hanawak to tell them, guilty. And they're going to face condemnation eternally. After they committed the act, although they knew what they were doing before they did it, now they're appealing to Allah Hayam. That's how the nature of these Nephilim are. They want to do wrong, and then they're caught. Then they want to beg for mercy. And there's no mercy for nobody once they're condemned by Allah Hayam. None. Let's read on. Only the Nephilim bloodline is without mercy before Allah Hayam, as they are an inherently wicked people, and as we have discovered in the study called As in the Days of Lawat, they are also very persuasive with their evil doctrines, their abominable acts, and the evil worship of their evil idols, which, by the way, would be their fathers, the fallen angels. Allah Hayam had commanded Yashraal to utterly destroy these people, to spare none alive. So mercy is for his bloodline, the ones that he created. And even though we were all sinners, we have mercy. We have access to mercy and grace as well. But this bloodline does not have mercy, does not have access to his mercy or grace or salvation or anything, only destruction eternally. Let's look at the Barayam chapter 23 verse 2. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh. Let's pause there. A bastard. I know some people think that a bastard is from a single parent, mother. Well, that's what we call them. But Allah Hayam calls a bastard is someone who is from mixed parentage, Yashwa'al and another nation. It has nothing to do with the mother being single. It has to do with the fact that if the mother or the father goes and marries someone from another race, the child becomes a bastard in the eyes of Allah Hayam. That's why they have no access to the congregation of Yashwa'al. Only to the fourth generation are they allowed to come back in, and sometimes none, depending on what nation they marry into or what nation their parents marry into or parent. There are just some nations that Allah Hayam will not accept. And now that we know that the Nephilim bloodline is spread far and wide, and they look like us, why would you take a chance to go and marry someone who is not of our lineage? All right. He says they can't enter into the congregation of Yahweh. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of Yahweh. Not even into the 10th generation. He said, an Edomite, if our people marry into Edomite, I believe it's Edomite and Matzorayim, they have up to, and I did this a while back, so I might be a little off, but up to the 3rd or 4th generation, right? Once they keep marry their offspring keeps marrying into Yashwa'al, then the 4th generation will be welcomed back into the congregation of Yashwa'al, of Yahweh. Meaning, no, you can be called Yashwa'al, whatever tribe your parents came from, or parent, I would say, came from. But only the 3rd and 4th generation. And this is the reason why Allah Hayam, Yahweh, is regathering the 4th generation of the southern kingdom, because he knew that as slaves, our mothers were raped. I know that for a fact because it happened in my family. All right? And I'm the 4th generation from my great-great-grandmother who was raped by the slave master. I'm the 4th generation. So we are the ones that are going to be regathered, because that curse has been rolled away in the 4th generation. Now, if I decided to go and marry someone of a different race, then that curse would remain until I put away that person. But a lot of our people, they don't want to put away their husbands or their wives because I love him or I love her. We have children, so okay, well, you hold on to that and lose your inheritance. Enjoy it while you can. All right, let's move on. Verse 3. An Ammonite or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of Yahweh, even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of Yahweh forever. Moabite and Ammonite, you should recognize those two nations. They're the offspring of Lawat. Incestuous people. That's where they were bred from. The daughters of Lawat, the 2 daughters of Lawat, had intercourse with their father. And one had a son called Moab, the other one had a son called Ammon. And they were the progenitors of the Moabites and the Ammonites. And even from back then, Allah Hayam, Yahweh, had placed a judgment against them for this very same thing. And they too mingled with the giants. Verse 4. because they met you not with bread and with water on the way when you came forth out of Matzarayim, and because they hired against you Balaam, the son of Beor of Pethor of Mesopotamia, to curse you. So these are all the other reasons that Allah gave. But trust me, there were much more, many more reasons. Goes down to the core of who they are as a people. And this is why they did what they did against Yashraal. Why they did not want to meet with us or meet us with bread and water, because they were inherently wicked. They hated Yashraal. All right? And then on top of that, their king hired this prophet to curse us. And Allah took that curse and made it into a blessing each time. Verse 5. Nevertheless, Yahweh Allah would not hearken unto Balaam, but Yahweh Allah turned the curse into a blessing unto you, because Yahweh Allah loved you. He loves his people. And anyone that tries to curse us, he's going to exact his revenge on them. Anyone that abused us, hurt us, even if it was way back then, he's keeping record. And he knows the offspring of those people. And he's going to deal with them. If you think that it happened in the past and it has nothing to do with you today, just like Yashraal, the southern kingdom, we're living in the lands of our captivity because of our forefathers, of what they did. They played the harlot. And finally, Yahweh said, enough is enough. You want to play the harlot? Go ahead. Go and worship the other gods and be their slaves. And that's where our people have been all these generations. And now we, the generation that was born in the lands of our captivity, never seeing our own land. We're bearing the consequences of our forefathers. And you want to tell me the people that were our persecutors, their offspring aren't going to face their consequences? Allah coming after all y'all, all the people that persecuted his people. And just like Moab and Ammon did not favor Yashraal when they came out of Goshen, there are a lot of other nations that didn't favor us either. They may not be our persecutors, but they didn't meet us with bread and water. All right, let's move on. From our previous study, as in the days of Lot, we learned that he too became influenced by the wickedness of Sodom, when he and his daughters committed an abomination and produced sons as a result of incest. These sons became the progenitors of the Ammonites and the Moabites, who were wicked nations, following after the fathers of the Nephilim, who became their gods, worshipped as idols made from stone, wood, and metal. But the power and manifestation were done by the fallen angels, who were free for now. So the 200 that are currently in chains in the darkness under the earth were like gods on the earth, and their children, the Nephilim, worship them as gods. So what has happened over the course of time, even though they have been locked away, the other fallen angels that did not commit the abominable act, but yet they're still fallen, has taken the place of these 200 and become like gods to the other nations on this earth. That's what has happened. Allah had made a judgment against Lot and his lineage in the book of Yahweh, which is the book of Jubilees, and now we're seeing him making this oath against them in this scripture. The offspring of Lot existing today who are of the land Yaradan is still under this judgment of condemnation. So by the way, Moabites and Ammonites, they're the people who live in Yaradan, which is Jordan. All right. Yes, Rawath, who is Ruth, was a Moabite who came into the congregation of Yashwa'al through marriage to her first husband who died, and then through her second husband, Boaz. Like Rahab of Jericho, Rawath, who is Ruth, is named in the lineage of the Wad and of Hamashiach. Therefore, Rawath was a Moabite, but her bloodline was not contaminated. She retained the pure bloodline that Allah Hayam created. So just like Allah Hayam preserved the animals that were going to enter into the ark that Noach made, so he can preserve whomever he has chosen, because they're coming into our lineage. So Rahab was not of the lineage of Yashwa'al, but she was brought in because of what she did for the two spies. And Rawath, she came through marriage, but she was of a different sort. So let's read on. She was of a different sort. Now, how do we know this? Nephilim bloodline is inherently evil, as they do not have the favor of Allah Hayam, and so they are capable of incredible wickedness. Let us look at the nature of Rawath, who is Ruth, by her words and her actions afterwards. So let's look at the book of Ruth, which is Rawath, chapter 1, verse 14. And they lifted up their voice and wept again. So what has happened? That, I forgot the mother's name. She and her two sons and husband left Yarwashalam to go into the land of Moab. And the two sons took wives. The name is coming and going from my mind. And the two sons died. Her husband died. So now she's telling the two daughters, because they're Moabites, you can go back to your people. You're free now to go back to your people. So this is the part now where we're going to pick up from verse 14. And they lifted up their voice and wept again. And Orpha kissed her mother-in-law, but Rawath clave, meaning she cleaved onto her. And she said, this is Rawath, Ruth, behold your sister, no, this is the mother-in-law. She said, behold, your sister-in-law is gone back unto her people and unto her gods. So Orpah went back to being a Moabite, to worship her own gods. Now she's saying, return you after your sister-in-law. Meaning, go on, be like your sister-in-law. You are free to go back to your people. Verse 6, and Rawath said, entreat me not to leave you, or to return from following after you. For where you go, I will go, and where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your Alahayam my Alahayam, or Alahayak Alahai. Where you die will I die, and there will I be buried. Because the mother-in-law was going back to Yashwa'al. She had nothing there in Moab, in the land of Moab. Yahweh, do so to me and more also, if anything but death part you and me. Now, does this sound like she has, that Rawath had the Nephilim bloodline? She gave up being a Moabite to become Yashwa'al, to serve Alahayam, Yahweh, to live in the land, to call those people Yashwa'al, her people, and Alahayam, her Alahayam. That does not sound like someone who has Nephilim bloodline. Orpah had Nephilim bloodline. That's why she went back to being a Moabite, to being to worship her gods. You see the difference? Based on Ruwath's words and action of accompanying her mother-in-law back to Yashraal, that she had the favor of Allahayam upon her, whereas Orpah did not. And that was why she returned to her people, the Moabites. It all comes down to favor. When Allahayam has his hand upon you, you can go so far and no further until he starts to draw you back and draw you to himself. The favor of Allahayam upon Ruwath meant that she was not contaminated with Nephilim bloodline, and neither was she any more corrupted by the pagan worship of her people. Let's look at Shamawath chapter 34 verse 11. Book of Exodus chapter 34 verse 11. Observe you that which I command you this day. Behold, I drove out before you the Amorite and the Canaanite and the Hittite and the Perizzite and the Hivite and the Jebusite. Take heed to yourself, lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land where you go, lest it be a snare in the midst of you. But you shall destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves. For you shall worship no other God. For Yahweh, whose name is Kana'ah, jealous, is a jealous Allahayam. Lest you make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call you, and you eat of his sacrifice. So right here, this is the reason why Allahayam, in the book of, I believe it's Hanawak, when he talks about the land being wicked, it wasn't the land per se that was wicked, it was the wickedness that was done in the land. These creatures could not corrupt the fruits and vegetables that they were growing, the homes that they built. But what they corrupted, how they corrupted the land, is by setting up altars and images and groves with their idols. And that's why Allahayam Yahweh told Yashraal, when they go into the land, this is what I want you to do. Break down their altars and destroy them, their images and their groves, and don't worship their gods. Destroy them utterly. And if you notice, there are only about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the nations that Allahayam drove out. The Girgashites, he did not drive out that, because he said to them, if I drive them out all at once, the animals are going to come and overwhelm you. But I'm going to keep them there, and you gradually should drive them out and utterly destroy them. But our forefathers didn't do that. Of course. Of course. They didn't do it. They made covenants with them and made them pay tribute, become their servants. Verse 16. And you take of their daughters unto your sons, and their daughters go a whoring after their gods, and make your sons go a whoring after their gods. Yahweh was very clear about the 7 nations that Habaniah old Yashraal were to utterly destroy. These 7 nations occupied the land he had promised to them, a land flowing with milk and honey, richness and sweetness, and at the same time it was occupied with giants in these 7 nations, called by these names of the 7 nations. That was the reason why Allahayam described them as great and mighty, because of their stature and their strength. Let's look at Shamawath chapter 3, the book of Exodus chapter 3 verse 8. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of Matzorayam, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites. Let's look at Ba-Madabar, the book of Numbers, chapter 13, verse 27. And they told him, and now this is when Masha, who is Moses, sent 12 spies, one leader from each tribe, to go and spy out the land and to bring back word after 40 days. Bring back word what you have seen in the land. So this is their response now. They've come back. They brought back pomegranates and grapes. The grapes were so big, it took 2 men to carry them. And they told him and said, we came into the land where you sent us, and surely it flows with milk and honey. It's full of richness and sweetness. And this is the fruit of it. So they showed the people the pomegranates, the giant pomegranates and the giant grapes, and whatever else they brought. Verse 28, nevertheless, there's always a but. The people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak. Those are the Anakim. They're a part of the Nephilim. They're the ones with the long necks. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mount, meaning the mountain. And the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Yarden. And Caleb, who is Caleb, stilled the people before Masha and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. So there were 12 spies. 10 came with a bad report and said, no, we can't take these giants. The land is good, but we can't take down these giants. And 2 said, yes, we can. That was Caleb and Yahushua. Caleb and Joshua. They said, yes, we can take it. The land is good, but the giants, we can take them down. Verse 31. But the men that went with him said, we are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto Habaniel Yashwaal, saying, the land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eats up the inhabitants thereof. And all the people that we saw in it are men of a great stature, mean giants. And there we saw giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers. That's how small the average stature of men compared to these giants. And so we were in their sight. They forgot the promise of Allah Hayam, who said, I will go before you and remove them out of the land. But all he wanted from Yashwa'al is to go and spy out the land and see it. What he said, that it was a land flowing with milk and honey and nothing else. But all they saw, they saw the goodness and the richness of the land, the richness and the sweetness of the land, but they were overwhelmed by the giants. They already proclaimed failure, defeat, because of what they saw, and forgot what Allah Hayam had promised them. And it made Allah Hayam so angry that he drove them back in the wilderness, where they died out, that generation. And even though Allah Hayam had driving them back to the wilderness, all of a sudden, oh yeah, you know what, we changed our minds, we're going to go in and take the land. And Masha said to them, you go, but you're going by yourselves. And Allah Hayam is not going with you. You will surely be defeated. Caleb and Yahushua, that's Caleb and Joshua, were ready to fight. Masha was ready to lead them in the fight. And Yahweh was ready to go ahead of them and fight this battle with the Nephilim for them. Because Anakim is all part of the Nephilim. They're all Nephilim. If only they had believed him. Allah Hayam had made them a solemn promise that the land was theirs for the taking, but they did not believe his words. Neither did they believe in him. The Nephilim were used by Allah Hayam to prepare the land for his people when he delivered them from Matsarayah. They were not a problem for him to handle. But the sight of the giants became a problem for Habaniel Yashwa'al, based on the negative report of their 10 leaders who scoured the land for 40 days. All right? Allah Hayam does not want us to become overwhelmed by the wickedness that is happening in this world today either. We have to remember the promises that He's made to us, His people, that He's going to regather us. And before He regathers us, He's going to protect us. All right. Nehemiah, that's the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 1. On that day, they read in the book of Masha in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonite and the Moabite should not come into the congregation of Allah Hayam forever, because they met not Habanite ol Yashraal with bread and water, but hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit Allah Hayana, our Allah Hayam, turned the curse into a blessing. Now it came to pass, when they, this is Yashraal, had heard the law, that they separated from Yashraal all the mixed multitude. They woke up. They said, people that were married to other people from these two nations, they kicked them out. They removed them and their children. Because at this time, in Nehemiah's time, they had rebuilt the temple, and true worship was being restored. And part of this true worship being restored was then putting away the wickedness, which will be the mixed multitude. Ozara'ah, the book of Ezra, chapter 9, verse 1. Now when these things were done, the princes came to me, saying, the people of Yashraal and the priests and Lawai have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations. Exactly what Allah Hayam warned them about is what they have, what they did. And even today, our people are still doing it. Even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, Matzarayam, and the Amorites. For they had taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Our bloodline, especially Yashraal, we are a holy people. Especially when we have been awakened and we have been restored and redeemed. And then to go and contaminate yourself now with another nation? Really? The holy seed, and that the holy seed is Yashraal. So not only do we have the bloodline of Allah Hayam that He created, but we, the people, Yashraal, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, are the holy seed that He has raised up out of the earth to be His people, and He will be our Allah Hayam. We are the people that He made a covenant with, and because He is holy, we have to be holy. And being holy is restraining yourself and refraining from mingling with other nations, intermarrying with other nations. You're no longer holy when you do that. You're no longer Yashraal when you do that. Yea, the hand of the princes and the rulers have been chief in this trespass. The leaders were the key people that were doing this. So if you see your leader doing this, guess what was happening with the people? They were doing it too. Now we drop down to verse 10. And now, O Allah Hayana, what shall we say after this? And this is the cry of Ozara'ah. For we have forsaken your commandments. which you have commanded by your servants the prophets, saying, the land unto which you go to possess it is an unclean land, with the filthiness of the people of the lands, with their abominations, which have filled it from one end of to another with their uncleanness. So this was the scripture that I was trying to remember. I said it was Hanawak. It wasn't Hanawak. It was this scripture here. Now, the land being filthy and unclean was because of the abominations that were committed in the land, not the actual land itself, because that land was given to his people. He wasn't going to give a land that was unclean to his people. The land and whatever was growing on it was clean, but the abominations being committed because of the the evil deeds that these people were committing, plus the pagan worship and the idolatry and what have you, made the land unclean. And that's why when the people went in, the holy seed went in, they had to destroy the altars and the groves and what have you. All right? It was not the land itself that was unclean, but the abominable acts being done in the land made it spiritually filthy. However, once the offspring of the Nephilim were destroyed by the sword, the land spiritually then would have been cleansed. You will notice common recurring concerns of Allah Hayam Yahweh concerning Yashwa'al mingling with these offspring of the Nephilim. First of all, the bloodline of Yashwa'al and the children they would have gotten by these creatures will no longer be holy and pure. Yashua would certainly go after their gods, the gods of those they married, of these abominable nations. And Yashua would have mingled the worship of these gods with that of the pure worship of Allah Hayam Yahweh, and that's what they did. Remember, you go back in the book of, I believe it's in Ezekiel, when Allah Hayam said, Son of man, look, the women are in the temple or at the, and they're crying over Tammuz. And the same thing with the men. The men have turned their backs to the temple and they're facing the sun, meaning they're worshiping the sun. All right? This is what happens to our people. We want to have our cake and eat it too. They want to mingle the worship of the pagan nations. They're all pagan. With that of Allah Hayam. And create a hybrid worship. But Allah Hayam said he is kana'ah. He is jealous. You're not to take any other. You're not supposed to take gods and worship them and bow down yourselves before them. He said, for I am jealous. Me and only me. You sacrifice to me and only me. And he said, on top of that, these other gods and their religions and their doctrines and everything, they're going to cause you to do wickedness. Like sacrificing your children, throwing them in the fire. I never asked you to do that. And commit all kinds of abominations with each other. How does all this information regarding the Nephilim pertain to us today? Yes, this Nephilim bloodline is still in existence in our world today. And as we have understood from the previous studies, they are in high places governing over us. They have created secret societies where they have also created ways and means to remain connected together as a way to stay united in their efforts to deceive the common folk. And not only to deceive us, but to draw the common folk into their wickedness through influence. This is the part where I was discussing before. All right? I'm going to show you some things. And you're going to be thinking, well, we do this all the time with our hands. Why is that wrong? All right, we'll get to that in a minute. They stay connected by various means to show their compliance and their alliance to their masters, who are the evil spirits behind these evil flesh folks, their earthly agents, their children, with their bloodline. I have tried to avoid having to show pictures to show you just how deep this deception goes. I can't avoid it. Those that are involved who happen to be idols, champions in sports, entertainers, politicians, and even religious leaders. They're everywhere. They come in all sizes, races, and genders. You have to be aware that despite where these people are from, they have been planted in countries all around the world to make us think that they are ordinary people with extraordinary gifts, skills, and agilities. You might think this person came from Jamaica, so therefore they're Jamaican. They come out of the wherever country, city or what have you in Jamaica, and they rose to fame. Losing my train of thought here for a minute. They rose to fame because of their agility, their skills, their abilities. This other one come from another island and become a famous singer. You're going to see her too. And I've told people that live on that island that this creature is not who they say they are. They were planted there. Oh, I know them. I know. Well, you don't know them. But I know people that went to school with them. So what? That's what they do. They plant them in places and give them a childhood somewhat. And when they're ripe and ready for the scene, for the stage, the world stage, then they pluck them up and bring them out. You don't really know anything about this person. You just know what you heard about them. But everybody wants to know or wants to feel that I know them because I've seen them around or I went to school with them, but yet never had a relationship with them. They know nothing about them. Okay, let's move on. So let us look at who and what these creatures really are. And another thing that these creatures do, when they become famous, then all of a sudden they're donating gifts to the islands. And you know how island people are, right? Ignorant. I'm from the island, but they're ignorant. As soon as, not all of them, and let me just rephrase that. The ones that are awakened, they're not ignorant. But the ones who are not awakened, they are ignorant. And the reason why they're ignorant is because this person was just like us, living on the island, and they rose to fame, and they have fortune, and now they donated a machine to the hospital. So, oh wow, this person is awesome. This person is a goddess now. Right? This is the mentality of the island people. All right? Which happens to be our people. Always drawn away by mammon. It happened in the wilderness. It happened when we were in our own land. And now it's happening again today. Someone walking around with bling bling, and you bow down to them. And you want to serve them. This is the nature of our people, my people. And that's why Allah Hayam is going to deal with us, especially the southern kingdom. And once and for all, choose which side, choose whom you will serve. You got to take your eyes off these people. All right, let's start with the first one. Signs and symbols expose who they are. The one-eye symbolism and the 3 sixes. And if you know this, you might think, oh, well, I put up the 3, I put up that hand signal to say okay. Because that's what we were trained and programmed to believe. Where did this hand signal come from? I had a strong argument with a dear friend. We went to school together, not school, college together. We're old friends. And when we started talking about this, about the 3 sixes, the hand signal, he said, but I use it too, ain't nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm like, are you for real? You were programmed to use that hand signal because you did not come out of the womb using that hand signal. You see it on television, you see it with people around you, and you just pick it up. It's a bad habit. I have done it, and I will confess, I have done it because when someone says something to me and I want to say okay, but I don't want to shout the okay, I put up the hand signal, not knowing what I was doing. It's okay to say I've done it, I was wrong, I will not do it again. With the help of Ruach HaKadosh. Just like the name Jesus. You know, we were programmed in the churches to say Jesus, 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 Jesus. Every other word was Jesus. So when I came into the knowledge that that's not his name, that's actually Tammuz, you know how hard it was for me to take that name out of my lips, out of my mind. I had to pray and repent all the time. Father, forgive me, I call that name again, that wretched name. I had to pray. And I had to ask for repentance. And that's all you do. You pray and ask for repentance. Please don't let me use that hand signal, Abba. I did it. Please forgive me. I'm not going to do it. And be mindful of what you're doing. But these people speak with their hands. And we pick up on these gestures, not knowing that we're picking up on. Remember what I said before. Nephilim bloodline are very influential and very persuasive. So when they do these hand signals, because they are form of witchcraft, it is drawing you into their realm. All right? And you don't even know it. You don't know it. Because subconsciously, they have made an impact on you. You don't even know it. That's why the scriptures say you got to be constantly praying and put on the mind of Hamashiach. You have to have his mindset. Think holy thoughts. And when you are walking in the light, then Ruach HaKadosh is going to be the one to cause you to be more aware of what you're doing with your hands and even the words that you speak. And even if you're humming a song that you're not supposed to be humming, what are you doing? Okay, oops, I didn't mean to. I passed by and I heard this song, and just like the other day, I went with a friend. we went to another city, and we were looking for a restaurant to get something to eat. And as I was walking by, we were walking on, it was like a boardwalk. And as we were walking by, this one place was playing, because you know, I'm in Egypt, so all I hear is Egyptian music. That's all I hear all day long. Egyptian music. So I'm here passing by this particular restaurant and it was playing American music, a song that I recognize. And immediately it brought back memories to me of when I was back in Canada and when I heard this song and places that I've been to that I heard this song. And all of a sudden I felt like I wanted to dance. I wanted to groove, right? I wanted to groove because it just brought me back to a time when life was a little simpler than it is today. In fact, it was simple, right? And not as in the as it is today with all the chaos. And so the spirit had to like, hello, stop giving ear to that song. Yes, it brings back memories of, when you were with friends and, working together or, what have you. He said, don't even give into it. I honestly wanted to break out right there and start grooving. And I had to say to my friend, I said, you know what? I haven't heard American music in such a long time. It's not like it, but it was out there. I'm not going to go and look for American music, top 10 or what have you. I'm not going to listen to it. I don't listen to music like that. But it was just a moment where I was passing by and they were playing this song, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this song, wow, like I just, and Rawak Hakadash hold me up, like, nah, turn off your ears and keep walking. And that's what I had to do, right? But that's the influence of the Nephilim, right? That's the influence of the Nephilim. And that's why it's even in their music. And they have suggestive lyrics. And even they call it, there's a word for it, where they have hidden messages where you can do the backward masking. Yes, backward masking. There are hidden messages even in their music. And when you play the music backwards, you hear the satanic chanting. All right, let's move on to this one eye symbolism and the three sixes. And if you notice, I'm going to use my little arrow here. How you get the six. This is represents the 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 bottom part of the six, and this is 1 6 here, and then you do this, and this is the second 6 here, and then this will be the third 6. They are well aware of what they are doing. Look at who is doing it. Look at these. I'm sure you can identify who some of these people are. This one here is that Bieber guy sticking out his tongue. We're going to get to that too. And this is a girl, by the way. This is a girl. This is an invert. I, I forgot the name of this one. And this one looks familiar. And this one looks like a brother, right? You see, they use all kinds, all types, even children. This is when this one was younger. Recognize this one? The Chan guy, the karate man, right? Even him. Oh, yes, even him. All Nephilim children. Look at this one here. This one is also, this one from Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, that one. And I recognize this one here too. I've forgotten his name. Yeah, I forgot this name. I don't watch movies like I used to before I was awakened. I may watch something in order to gain some insight, but I don't keep their names in my mind. These ones were old actors from back in the day when I used to watch movies, so I know them. But the singers, the new singers and stuff, I think this one is a singer. But this one is evil looking. And this one looks masculine as well. But this one here is, I would not be surprised if this one is also an invert. Right? I would not be surprised. But I have not done an investigation into this one. But this one is definitely an invert. Right? It's a female. So let's read here. Do not be deceived. That's what Hamashiach told us. There's a reason why these sodomites are showing two hand gestures rolled into one. The one eye symbol, aka as Ra, the sun god. That's who they're saluting, paying tribute to. Ra, Horus, or whatever name it goes by, because it has different names for different civilizations, right? They are fallen angels masquerading as gods to the civilization since the fall of Adam in the garden that's supposed to be garden of Odan. These Nephilim offspring are showing their alliance to their fallen fathers. That's what they're doing. And at the same time, they're using their influence to cause us to use the same hand gestures. Oh, my idol is using that hand signal. It looks so cool. I want to do it too. Or you just don't think about it and you automatically do it because it's subconscious programming. And the only way you can break that subconscious programming is by the word of Allah. The light that is in you will prevent it and break it. If it's already there, it will break it. When we have the light, it prevents it. The 3 6s is shown with the 3 fingers up and the other 2 making the rounded part of the 6. All right. It doesn't matter which eye they use, but they're giving tribute. This one is giving tribute to the snake god. That's why he has the tongue. It has the tongue sticking out. And this and that. I've always been curious about this one though. This one never really impressed me. And then when you start seeing all the different rumors and stuff that came out, trying to persuade people that, oh, it's a male. When you see them with these rumors and scandals because of some situation with a woman, if it's a male, like this one's pretended to be a male, is to persuade us that it is a male. Right? You're going to see more of them in the next little while. So let's read on. Clearly, they are making the sign of the number of the beast, who, by the way, is also Nephilim bloodline. Their rulers and fathers. The sodomites on the left are the earthly agents being used to program the masses through entertainment. So whether it is sports or music or acting or what have you, it is all entertainment. And this is what the Nephilim has created in order to program our minds, whether consciously or subconsciously. All right, let's move on. This one here is sickening. This one is definitely an invert, and it is also a witch. Just look at the eyes. When it was younger, it looked more feminine, right? But now as it's gotten old, it's looking like an old hag because it is a male invert. Even though it had children, those children came from a factory, all right? Did not come from this one. And all the evil that this one has done, it is a witch. Creating its own baby line because they're programming children now. We're going to see that at the very end. This creature is also a witch, a handler for the younger ones coming on the scene. That's what they do. It is also inverted. It is not a true female. This is not a true female. Look at this jawbone here. Look at this. This is a jawline of a male. And look at the energy that's coming from these eyes. The evil and the energy. It's all screaming man. All right? I got a little, see the Adam's apple there? You might think it's a shadow. But that's a little Adam's apple because what they do, they get they can shave the Adam's apple, but it keeps growing back. And also, too, they can change their vocal cords by surgery. And these ones were inverts from babies. And that's why it is harder to find the ones that have been inverted at birth or after. Well, these ones weren't born. This one was not born. This one just popped up off the scene as a 12-year-old or 14-year-old or something like that, with a man handling it. And when this one rose to fame, then the man died, meaning taken off the scene, and now this one is launched. This is what they do, because this one has many fans as a singer. All right, this one's had many fans. And I thought it was really weird that that old man married this young creature here when it was young. Really evil. These people are evil. It is for this reason why its true gender is breaking through all the chemical therapies it had been taking since birth. So they take chemicals to change who they are on a hormonal level, but also they do the surgeries. And don't worry, you might see them walking around with a baby bump. That's exactly what it is, a baby bump. A piece of silicone that they wear around their belly, all right, to pretend that they're pregnant. But they're not. They get their children from a factory. A look into their eyes tells you all you need to know. They are not like us at all. Look at this. Just look and see the evil that is exuding from this creature. They're evil to their core, and they hate the bloodline that Allah Hayam created. They have sworn to their masters and fathers to carry out their agendas, to deceive and to corrupt as many as possible before they die, or are replaced with a newer model. That's what they do. As this one gets older, it's either going to die or plane crash. Something's going to happen to it. And then a newer model is going to come and replace this one. Right? That's what they do. As they grow old and decrepit and looking like hags, they're replaced with the younger, beautiful models to keep the deception going. That's what it's all about, keeping the deception going. So this one is showing you, this is almost like the one eye that this one is showing you, right? And I think this was on the album of this person's music. But right there is showing you the one eye signal. Right? And they're doing it between the fingers, which could almost be like a pyramid. If you imagine a line from this finger to that finger, it will be like a pyramid. And they do it like that too. All right? But this here is the one eye signal to their one eye god. So let's look at this other one. Famous athlete from Jamaica, the Bolt guy. Yes, he's one of them. Everyone loves him. Oh, because he's from Jamaica and he's the fastest runner on the earth. Who made him fast? What made him fast? This is a creature. Are you surprised by this one? It has its claim to be a Jamaican. Hence, anyone would think that he is one of us. But he is not. He's a plant. He's one of them that's a plant. The devils want to convince and corrupt even and especially Yashua Al. They want us to fall in love with their fallen creatures, but only those that are of Allah Hayam Yahweh will follow him and will not be deceived. This one also showing the lightning bolt pose each time it wins a race, a tribute to its Nephilim gods. You know that pose that it likes to do? That's a tribute to its gods, the lightning bolt. That's why it has a name called Bolt. Right? It's not named that way because he's fast. It's named that way because it is Nephilim. And if you notice, they all have these weird names anyway. Showing the one eye. All right, let's look at this one now. Same person. Now he's showing the 3 6s. The one eye here, and now this one here is called the code of silence. We're going to look at that too. I know the secrets and I promise not to tell. And look what ring it is wearing. It's wearing that masonry ring or mason ring to show you it is part of a secret society. This is not a coincidence, folks. This is them hailing their gods in public. And we, the ignorant, are not supposed to know these things, but Allah Hayam thankfully exposes them. You fall in love with this one thinking that you're from the Caribbean, so therefore this person is wholesome. Think again. I would not be surprised if some sort of scandal come out with this one soon. Here we see the son of the lightning bolt giving all of the hand gestures, the one eye, the 3 6s, the code of silence, because it will not tell the secrets that it knows. And of course the ring. Not any and everyone can put on this ring. You have to be invited. And the higher you go, the more secrets are revealed to you. And when they give you a secret, you're not supposed to share with the common folk. All right? Here's it doing it again. Same person. The same son of perdition doing another hand gesture. The 3 6s on both hands, plus the sign of the phoenix rising. The phoenix rising is symbolic of rebirth and renewal. This is what these secret societies are deceived into believing because their fathers, the fallen angels, tell them so, and they believe. So he's giving 2 signals here: the 3 6s on both hands, plus the sign of the phoenix rising. This one here, don't be in love with these people here. Don't be in love with these people. They're evil. And this one knows what is involved in. Don't tell me that they didn't know, that they're just doing it for business. There's no such thing. All right. Let's move on now. Again, still the 3 6s and the one eye. Here are some more followers of perdition, showing their alliance to the fallen one-eyed god. Can you identify all or any of these creatures? Notice the age difference between them all and their races too. So you have all different races, all different genders. Look at that. This one here is this is MJ when it was younger. This is also an invert. MJ is a female. Look at it there. See the softness? Yes, it's a child here, but you have a boy child and you have a girl child. This is a girl child right here. And this here, again, the Bieber one, throwing up the 3 6s again, but with both hands. We know who this is, the Clinton fella. This is also a suspect. I'm not convinced that this is a male. You might think I'm crazy, but these people have been fooling us for generations. All right? And yes, this one had a scandal. Like I said, watch for the scandals. This had a scandal with a woman to try to convince us that it is a male. Just like the Trump guy. A lot of scandals with women to try to convince us that it's a male. But in fact, it is not. We get to that one too. This one keeps popping up. I don't know who this is, but you probably do better than me. This one looks like a brother, another brother here, right? I think these are probably rappers or something. But all of them have sold. In fact, I shouldn't say sold their soul, because some of them have sold their souls, yes. And for fortune to get into the business. And so they become possessed because they have, listen, these people, right? When you get into their industry, whether music or acting or what have you, in order for you to rise to the top and be noticed, there are things that you just gotta do that you ordinarily would not do. I've heard stories about people saying, yes, we got invited to a party, but within this party was another party, and within that party was another party, and another party, and another party. And depending on how high you want to go, you got to go to these parties. And within these particular parties, there are things that you have to do, abominations that you got to commit. And there are some people that were so appalled by it all that they run the other way. And then there's some that succumb and say, okay, well, if this is the cost of fame and fortune, I'm all for it. So there are some that surrender their souls to the devil for fame and fortune. But for the most part, a lot of them are Nephilim. And once they sell their souls like that, it's hard for them to get it back. The devil ain't giving it back. You trade your soul for rock and roll. That's what they say, right? You trade your soul for fame and fortune. The devil ain't giving you back. Because he doesn't want the fame and fortune back. He never wanted it. He just wanted your soul. And that's why they commit these acts. They do these things. But this one was one from childhood. This one here and this one here. From childhood. Look at all the different things that this one went through. All right? And got the people, the whole world to fall in love with it. But there's no denying that this is a female. Look at the widow's peak here. That's not typical for a male. This is typical only for females. And look, the low hairline as well. This is a female. And if you notice that the females, this one that called itself a sister, a famous one, in fact, there are several of them, they went and did a lot of surgeries. And the reason why they did the surgeries is because they wanted to be, it's part of their inversion, because the females are the males and the males are the females. No joke. No joke. People, you need to wake up. Look at this one now. And this is the ever popular beetles, the bugs. Yeah, they're bugs. These ones are wicked. Oh my goodness. Look at them putting up, again, the 3 6s. And these ones are putting up the devil's horns. We're going to get to this one soon. Here they are showing the masses who they are truly working for. The 3 6s and devil's horns is a clear giveaway. And by the way, the song about the yellow underwater vessel is not as innocent as you may think it is. And they make the song like a children's folksy song so that everybody sings it. But this song is demonic as well. And that's how they persuade and influence people to fall in love with them. I remember back in the day when these ones were, well, I was still very young, but you hear about it. When they go on stage, women fainting, screaming, howling, you name it, because of these 4 creatures. They were so famous. All right? And eventually they all broke away. This one had its own career for a while and tried to present itself as a conscious singer, singing about love and all these different things. This one here. And then this one broke out and started its own career as well. And then I don't know about these 2 here, but these are 2 most famous ones. And they're showing that they call it the Illuminati hand signals, but they're more Freemasonry. So let's look at this one here called the devil horns. I know our brethren, right? That's why I tell you about our people. Our people are so can be so ignorant sometimes, right? They will say that this is a gang hand signal. There's nothing wrong with this hand signal. Oh, that's just a signal that the the rapper gangs they throw up and so on and so forth. If that was the case, why would this Lennon man here throwing up the same signal? He's not a rapper. He's definitely not the right color to be, as a rapper and what have you. And he's not in a gang. Well, this is his gang here, but you understand what I'm saying? He's throwing up the devil's horns. And the thing is about this hand signal, this particular hand signal called the devil's horns, it is casting curse or curses upon people. Right? Sometimes they have just these two fingers and the thumb, and they say, oh, that is a hand signal to say, I love you. It is still the same devil's horn. Or sometimes the forefinger is down, you just have the pinky and the thumb up. That's still the devil's horn. Horns. That hand signal represents the devil's horns. All of them. And they're not related. They have nothing to do with gangs and rap music and what have you. Nothing to do with that. I'm going to show you another one that they call it the West Coast hand signal, or for the gangs or whatnot. I'm going to show you that one too. And yet, you're going to see that hand signal being done even way back in history. These hand signals are nothing new. But they're programming us to subconsciously to use the same hand signals, to put curses on ourselves and our families and whomever is looking upon the hand signal. It's not going to be effective on people that have the light. If you have truth in your inward parts, it's not going to be effective on you. But for the common folk who are ignorant, it's going to be effective on them. And that's why when they go to the concerts and stuff like that, they put up the devil's horns. You see it at rock concerts and what have you. All the people putting up devil horns. And you know who's happy? The devil. The Satans, they're happy because you're paying tribute to them and cursing yourself at the same time. And that's why you're now lured into drugs and doing all kind of abominable acts even at these concerts. Unbelievable. Okay, let's move on. And we see here, I did a study on this. I think it's called the Roman Catholic Church and Christianity. I dig a big detail on this one here. It's the Baphomet. And I broke down every single symbol on this Baphomet. So I'm not going to go over that again. Because, you have the male phallic. It's both male and female. And beast. So this is ideal for the 3 6s. Beast, male, and female all incorporated in one body. You have 2 bumps on its chest to be female. You have the male phallic symbol here with the snake. And if you notice that this pole and the 2 snakes is also used for the symbol for pharmaceuticals. All right, you got one hand up, one hand down, and names written on the hands. You got the black wings, you got the 5-pointed star, you got the goat's horns, and the 5-pointed star. We've discovered that it is a satanic symbol. When you flip it the other way around with 1 point downwards and 2 points up, it is the shape of this goat's head. All right. So I went into detail. I don't recall everything right now, what is written on this hand and what is written on this hand. And this is their mascot. This is the god that they worship. And they're the image of their god, right? The goat god, the fallen angel. That's why it has the two black wings back there. And now this one is showing the devil's horns. I got a feeling that this one is eminent. I think that's who this one is. This is another one that came out of nowhere as well. And this is the Bieber guy, Bieber girl. This is not a guy, showing the devil's horns again. All right. This is a girl. And then you have here the Bushman, showing the devil's horns. And yet, some of our brethren will say, oh, this is just a gang hand signal. And you have the ex-president showing this same signal. We can't be that ignorant, man. Seriously. Look at this one here. The male side of the Clintons. This is the male. The other one, it was the female. This one was really running the country when its husband / wife was president. This one here. This one here is the gatekeeper. Sorry, not gatekeeper, the handler. This one here is the handler. And then you have this one here. Looks like basketball. It's kind of blurry, but the basketball player holding up the devil's horns on both hands. This one here, I forgot who this one is, but it's a singer. I've seen this picture before, but I can't remember who it is. Doesn't matter. It's just showing you that actors, all kind of entertainers, politicians. Look at the Barack here showing the same devil horns. This one, it has remember I told you the two fingers, the pinky, the forefinger, and the thumb. They would tell you that means I love you. No, it does not. Devil horns. This one is putting up the same thing too. This one is not. This one is not. This one is not doing the I love you so-called symbol. No. This is the devil's horns. This one here. And this one was the Pope before the recent one that we have, putting up the devil's horns. Why? Because by the look on its face, it is a devil. It's a demon. This one here, I think this is something to do with golf. I don't know. I don't know who this one is. It's obviously a famous person. And there was this is a person to putting up, using their body. I forgot. This was on someone's album. I can't remember who it was. But the shape that is using its arms and legs and body is to give you that same devil's horn symbol. All right? More devil horns to cast spells and curses upon the sheeple. All those who love these people automatically fall under their spells and curses. No wonder when you speak the truth concerning these people, their fans become enraged and deny the truth. We even have our own people defending the devil's horns, that it is not evil, but simply a gang gesture. Really? Why then are the politicians, religious leaders like the Pope, and entertainers are all throwing up this sign? Why? Yes, they are part of the gang, of the evil gang called the Masons, but this hand gesture has a more devilish purpose than what we believe. All of our foolish brethren who throw up this hand gesture or any of these gestures being discussed in this study are part of the sheeple, being deceived and cursed at the same time. And not only that, but being influenced as well. Because these people, if you don't see anything wrong with this, anytime they come to you with something that you know you're not supposed to be doing, you will be persuaded to do it because you are so in love with them. You're so in love with them. You don't see anything wrong with them. Here we have ex-president doing it again, and then this other guy. I didn't even know who this guy was. So who is this guy? Ahmadinejad, or He's an Iranian politician who served as the 6th president of Iran from 2005 to 2013. Why is he making the devil's horns hand signal? Because he is part of their bloodline. You don't get to be this high. You don't get to be president of a country unless you have the bloodline. All right. Now you see that there are no true conflicts between these leaders. Only propaganda provoking the foolish and ignorant sheeple to choose sides. He's showing up, he's showing one the same hand signal as this one here. They're both on the same side. They're both serving the same master. It's just that politically, this one will go against this one to make you think that this one is evil and this one is good. Good cop, bad cop. But when you look at it, behind the scenes, they're all brothers. They're brothers. That's what they call themselves in Freemason. Brothers. All part of the same gang. This one here, famous one. Well-known pastor, has the tongue of a serpent, very cunning with words, smooth and slick in appearance, enough to draw in the masses. And many people fall in love with this one. Even family members that I have fell in love with this one because it's pretty to look at and smooth. Right? Pretty and smooth. Holding up the 3 6s there, 3 6s there, 3 6s there. Devil horns on both hands now. Because that's how you can do the devil horns. On one finger on each hand. Pyramid on this hand, devil's horn on this hand. This is a creature. Very wealthy. Very well known. Prince, something prince. All right? You see the culture, you see the race that it came from. I think this one is some sort of Asian. Don't know which one. But they're trying to bring this same indoctrination to all nations. They put up this picture of the Bieber girl here to show you the hairstyle. You know, making them look very effeminate and pretty and soft. This one got a bit of softness with it too. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's an invert. Right? But I never did a research on this one because, you know. And this is a religious leader, by the way. This is a pastor. Religious leaders. Now we come to the pyramid with the hands gesture, like the pyramid with the one eye. Sometimes these creatures would place the pyramid made with their hands over their eye, a tribute to their fallen gods, the same God. Look behind the US $1 bill, pyramid with an eye, all seeing eye. Ra, Horus, whatever you want to call it, same God that these creatures worship. This one here, Cruz, putting up the hand signal. Stiller, Sharpton, Buffett, they're all Drake, Aguilera. This one, I'm not surprised by this one either. This one is Washington man, actor. I don't know this one here. But this one here is in sports. We know who this one is. This one is the other half of this one. This is the male. And the other half, the JZ one, that's the female. I kid you not. Inverts. Look at that. And this is the one that says that when it goes on stage, that its alter ego takes over. That's why it's able to gyrate impossible gyrations because it's possessed. It's possessed with demons. It's also Nephilim. I remember when this one first came out, I was living in New York City at the time when I first started hearing about this one here because it was a part of a group, an all girls group. And I think they used to sing gospel music too. I remember this one here. And look at it now. You see how they get you to fall in love with them? They come out sweet and innocent looking, and then they break out to be like this witch, devil in disguise, man. This one here is the one from the island. This one is from the islands, and this one wicked can done, as we was saying. Oh my goodness, these people, man. This one wicked, evil. This one here, I would not be surprised if this one's an invert as well. I would not be surprised. Right? But this one was a plant, just like the Jamaican one. This is the other plant that rose to fame and fortune that was discovered when it was singing in the island, when it was very young. Didn't even finish school from what, I don't know if I heard that correctly. But it was taken off the island and taken to America to become rich and famous. And look at it today. Calls itself the Princess of Illuminati. This one here, shamelessly confessing who it is. Wretched. I don't know what this one is. But this here, people love this one. I believe this one is this the Kanye one? I think this is him. This is another wretch that people fall in love with because it married another man. The you know, the Kim, that Kim in the Kim. Only it's a last name for a Chinese man. But this one here married a man. A lot of drama and everything. And I think this is here. Yeah, I think that's him. That's him, Kenya. And then all of a sudden it found Christ. And then it started singing gospel music and going to prison. You just see the prisoners there like swaying, you know. I'm like, these people, like, they're fallen. And for the mere fact, okay, Christ is not even our Messiah anyway. But this is how people are easily tricked, easily fooled into thinking that these people are normal people. They're not. Stop thinking that they're normal. They come with all kinds of narratives and agendas to draw in people into their darkness. Do not be deceived by them. This one is wicked. This one is evil, just like its male counterpart, Kim. Right? And they never had children either. Kim is a male. All those sisters that they call sisters are male. And remember the one that came out on the magazine cover? That was once a male and it took the surgery and everything, and now it's looking like a female. I think that would be their stepdad or something. I don't know. You see how easily it was they converted a male to look like a female after, you know, being a male for a while. But these ones were grown and groomed to be females or males from the time they were created in a pod, right? On a baby farm. And that's why they can look so masculine or so feminine. And everyone loves this one here, the Drake man. Everyone loves him. This one is a wretch as well. They're all wretches. They all come with the programming and the indoctrination because they can be very persuasive and influential, right? And so they're pushed up in the world to become famous, to keep the narrative, to keep the deception going. All right? To keep the deception going. Don't be don't be persuaded by these people. This one was an actor for a very long time. Washington man here. He's been an actor for a very long, and I used to like him too. Oh yeah, a brother making it in the world of acting, of course. Until now, we know better. Another puppet. Another puppet for the Masons, for the devils. Look at the different kinds of people showing their alliance. Do not be surprised at any of these people. They have been on the world stage for a long time, gaining your love and adoration, and at the same time, slowly corrupting, desensitizing, and normalizing the wickedness. Oops, sorry. The wickedness and abominations that they commit and love. This one makes it seem like he's such a down to earth kind of person, eh? Wicked. Look at the hand signal. Probably eat a lot of human flesh and drink a lot of human blood. That's what they do. This one also stated, right? This is how you know that these people are Nephilim. This one also stated that when it goes into different roles, that something possesses it, right? Possesses him, so that he is able to act out the role with perfection, because it's not really him. It is a spirit that enters into him that causes him to do this thing. So this one here, the woman, Beyonce, yeah, I call it wrong on purpose, right? I called its name wrong on purpose. Said the same thing. A lot of these actors say this. The other one too that I showed, you're gonna see that one coming up soon. Did the same thing as well. Says the same thing as well. That a spirit enters into them, and then they're able to carry out their role, whatever they need to do, sing or dance or act, right? Now look at all these hand signals. Pyramid with the eyes reflecting the pyramid seen behind the US dollar bill. So this is it here. The pyramid, and at the top of the pyramid is an eye. And look at all these actors and actresses. You see the 5-pointed star, and this here is the sign, the symbol for the Mason, and you're going to see it on the ring. You saw it on the ring of the bolt man. And look, you have the pyramid on this creature here. This is a satanic high priest. Forgot its name. And this one here, this is Rod. This is the Rod man. I think he's British. But he's been around for a long time too. He was once my favorite as well. Back in the day, back when I was like a teenager, in the 80s. I'm time stamping myself, I know, but these people have been around for a long time. And look, putting up the pyramid and the eye, showing the eye. This is Stewart, Rod Stewart, I think that's his name. Right? And let me see if I notice anyone's. Some of these, the pictures aren't too clear, but that's okay. And just to show you that many people put up this hand signal because it is a demonic symbol. This here is the Jay-Z and Beyonce. The male and female inverts. They're down here again. This is the male that looks like a female. This is the female that looks like a male. I think this is him here too. I think so. Don't quote me. Some of these are, I've shown you these pictures already, but I just found these pictures and someone did the collages, so I just rolled to suit. Then you have this one here. This is another one that came out. I forgot this one's name, but there was a little bit of drama that came out recently with this one too. This one here. And the reason why they have all these different dramas and scandals, when they're being promoted in the masonry, right? When they're being promoted, they have to be ashamed. They have to be shamed. That is part of the ritual. You have to bear shame. And the worse shame it is, the higher you go in masonry, right? The higher you go in masonry. So these ones, when you see them with all the different drama and everything coming on, this body slept with this body, or this body did this or did that, it is to shame them because they're being promoted for a job well done. All right? I don't really see anybody else here I recognize. But that's all these hand signals here. Pyramid, or the pyramid with the eye. Now let's go to the famous ex-president that everyone loves, putting up the pyramid with his hands. Many people's favorite president. Are you surprised? I know a lot of people, even our own brethren, love this man because they think that he is an awesome person, right? He's controlled opposition. He belongs to the same club. Many people have hailed him as the savior to the yes. When he first ran for president, people were saying, oh yes, he's going to make America great again, because that was his slogan. Did he make America great? No. All right. And still, no matter what he has done or said, people still thinks that he is a savior and he's going to turn things around in America. That's a lie. These people are deceptors. All right? They're professional at deception and lies. Many people still love this man, but he is the control opposition being used to keep America divided. And this one here is a female, by the way. This is a female. That's why it had so many scandals with taking advantage of women. Right? This one here, female. Clearly is a female. Just because it dresses in a suit does not make it a male. But this one is a female. You might think that I'm crazy. You might think that, what's this woman going on with? You got to know that these people have been groomed for a very long time. Groomed and groomed and groomed. And that's why they bring out the scandals to persuade you subconsciously that when you look at it, there's no doubt in your mind that it is a male. Like it's wearing a suit and a tie. But the male traits that it ought to have, it doesn't have. Anyways, but this one here, female. All right? And it's part of the club. Now let's look at some other famous people putting up the pyramid. More religious leaders and politicians showing their hand gestures. This one here, I can't handle at all, at all. From the minute it starts to speak, I think this one is called, now forgot this one's name, Joyce, yes. From the time it opens its mouth and begins to speak something, in my spirit just rises up and I just got to turn it off. I can't handle whatever spirit it has. It is deeply evil and demonic. And this one is suspect too. This one is a suspect as to not being a true female. Had a lot of surgeries done. Right? When you see them doing all these surgeries, not to make themselves to look young, it's to try to keep themselves looking female. That's one of the other reasons why. This one here, I'm a little surprised to some degree, but this one here had a scandal a few years back because if this is the correct person, but it's a pastor of a church and some scheme that it had something to do with money and embezzlement, and it was a big thing, but now it's back, right? Because it was promoted, right? Now it's back. Notice that all these people that have fallen, whether it was, you remember the Swaggart man and the other ones, they fall from grace, but they come back. They come back. And that fall came because they were being promoted. So the fall is inevitable. And this fall is welcomed by them. But we, the folk, the common folk, get emotional and think, well, this is not fair, this is not right, blah, blah, blah. Not understanding the truth behind what they're doing, the truth about these people. But this one here, I forgot his name, Jim something. I think this one here is another well-known pastor, John. Yes, John. And this one here is David. I think this is David Jeremiah, and this is John McCarthy or McCartney or whatever. But this one here, I've seen things with this one. Because it was, I don't want to recall the story and recall it wrong, but I saw that it was indulging in, not Irish, Gaelic, some sort of some sort of anyways, it's gone out of my mind because it happened a long time ago. But this one here, I knew a lot of these mainstream Christian pastors, evangelists, or whatever they call themselves, are pagan worshippers, no doubt about it. So I was not surprised about this one. But this one here, the Jim guy here, he was, one that used to come out and talk about the different holidays like Christmas and Easter and why we shouldn't celebrate them. So he tried to portray himself as a truther, right? So yeah, but I'm not really surprised, right? And let me see who else. This one, of course. Oh my goodness, this one is without a doubt Benny. Benny. And this one here, I think this one is called John. I think, is this Hagee? I think this is John Hagee. This one I'm surprised about. This one here is, I used to like listening to his messages because he's dead now. He's passed on. A weird car accident, David Wilkerson. So this one raised up a church in New York City. And the message, I mean, you can tolerate it, right? Because it speaks out about things that are going on in America and what have you, and judgment that's coming to America and what have you. But you know what? Like I said, control opposition. Let it not be a shock to you, a little surprise, but not a shock. This one, I think this one has, I don't know who this one is. But this one, of course, the famous, what's his name now? Joel. I can't handle this one at all. It smells way too much, right? Smells way too much. And never preach a message. It's all about motivation. That's all it knows. Because it's not a pastor. It inherited its congregation from its father when he passed on. It was never a pastor, and he would say that. And it's a business because he rakes in, hundreds of thousands of dollars when the month come, right? This one here, this one is like a messianic pastor. I think, what do you call itself now? Schneider or something like that. Yeah. But I'm not surprised because they're all part of the same club anyway. And this one here, oh my goodness, I remember this one from back in the day. I forgot this one's name, but it comes across as a comedian, and it would tell you its life story when it was in rock and roll and how it came to be a believer and this and that. And so it mixes a lot of humor with its sermon. But when you start to listen carefully, a lot of rancid like stuff that this one here says. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But when I first became a believer and I started listening to these pastors, this was one of my favorite ones because he used to make me laugh. So you see what they do? They either get you to fall in love with them because of, humor, or they're sweet and loving or what have you. They know how to play on your emotions, right? They know how to play on your emotions. Then you have this one here, this con man. He's really a con man in truth. I can't handle this one either. Every time I look at it, I just want to run. I just want to run and hide because there's something odd about this one, even by looking at it. But this one here comes up with a lot of fear mongering. It writes books, and then it proclaims a lot of fear mongering so that it can sell books. I remember the last book that I've heard about because I used to listen to this particular radio station, and this one here would, I think the last Shemitah or something like that, or the Blood Moon, something. It came out with quite a few books, and with each book there was this fear mongering that all these bad things are going to happen. So if you want to find out, buy my book and read it. This one here, con man, he's a con artist, right? Can't handle them, man. There's just some people in this picture here that I cannot handle. I don't know who this one is here, or this one. This one looks like Billy Graham, but Billy Graham was a Freemason, by the way, of the highest degree, and everyone loves him. A lot of people, the older folk, loves him. I think this is him here, but this one was definitely a Freemason. Yeah, definitely. More religious leaders and politicians showing their hand gestures. Some people think that these are innocent hand gestures that even they themselves use from time to time. That's why I'm saying you are programmed. When you look at your pastor holding up these hand signals, right? Obviously, you're going to think it's okay. When you see your idols holding up these hand signals, you're going to think it's cool. I want to do that too. So you're programmed subconsciously to do it. So don't think that it is innocent. These hand gestures they are telling their gods, their masters, hey, I'm doing your work. I'm doing the work that you sent me out to do. It is because of these creatures' influence, the influence of the Nephilim, that causes us to imitate them, whether their gestures, how they dress, and even how they speak, all because we have been drawn in under their spells. As long as you keep watching them, watching these people, you will start to imitate them. It's human nature. It's repeated vision, a repeated scene or words. Eventually, you're going to start repeating or imitating what you've seen and what you've heard, and do the things the way how these people are doing it. Look at the sheeple at rock concerts throwing up the devil's horns because these sheeple are on their spell. Yeah, not to mention the music and the lyrics got them on in a trance. All right, they got them in some sort of hypnotic trance, and then they start putting up the devil's horns because then in front of them you got the people that are in the concert that is performing doing it. So they imitate because they're under a spell, they're under a trance, they're in a trance because of the spell. All right. If you cannot see that these hand gestures are demonic, you are truly under a spell. You need to wake up. Truly under a spell. We need to wake up. Now, this one surprised me. This one surprised me because this one, along with this one, Marzulli, this one, along with another one that just passed away by the name of Tom Horn, they write books and investigated about the giants, the Nephilim, the very same thing that I'm talking about. These ones here. When I started hearing about the Nephilim, it was because of these ones here. This and Tom Horn. This one surprised me, but not really. So I'm surprised, but I'm not shocked. All right. I'm not disappointed because I could care less about these people. Right. I never bought any of their books. Never really. I've heard their interviews because it was on a radio station, but it's not because I am invested in them. This was a researcher of the giants Nephilim. I'm not sure if it's still involved in it. And he called L.A. Marzulli. It was partnered at one time with another researcher called Tom Horn for a while, exposing the fact that giants roam the earth. Bones were uncovered and hidden in museums. But here they are exposing the truth by writing books, going on countless interviews and such. So they get you to fall in love with them. But here he is putting up the pyramid. These people control opposition. That's what they are. The devil knew that eventually the truth will come out, so they sent their own to redirect the attention from them, the true Nephilim. I wouldn't be surprised if this one has Nephilim bloodline. I would not be surprised. So to take the focus away from the entertainers and the politicians and the religious leaders, let us point them in the direction of the museums and the bones that we find and are found, and get them to investigate the bones, but not look at us. That's what they do. So redirect the attention from them and place it on the bones that were buried. Even if they exposed giants today, they take the attention off of themselves. So this one here would never tell you that all these different people that I've shown you have Nephilim bloodline. They will make it seem that there were giants, and yes, there may be some hiding in caves or under the earth or what have you, but they would never, ever, ever point to these people and say that they have Nephilim bloodline. Especially this one for sure. All of them, all of these ones here, all of them, Nephilim bloodline. And placed in position of pastoral leadership to lead the sheeple into their darkness. This is what this one was hired to do. To take your attention, your focus away from them and place it on the bones, the giant bones that they've discovered. All right, let's move on to the hidden hand now. This is the hidden hand gesture, just like the code of silence. You don't speak about the secrets you hear, neither do you speak about the secret things that you do. One hand hidden is like using the trick, the sleight of hand. Pay attention to the hand that you see. You see this hand? Focus on this hand. Don't focus on this hand. Pay attention to the hand that you see, not the hand that is hidden. That is truly the hand with the dangerous deeds. So this one here is carrying out the dangerous deeds. But they don't want you to see. But they cause you to focus on the other things that they're doing. The good works that they're doing in the community and what have you. But they don't want you to focus on the wickedness, the evil. And this here, they're showing you that this is also a Mason's signal, hand symbol. So this here is the Pope. What is that saying about that? About him? But we already discovered this about him, that this one here is unbelievably wicked and evil. This is 200% Nephilim bloodline. Oh my goodness, this one is purely wicked. Even looking at its eyes, oh my goodness. Absolutely wicked. Okay. Let's move on because we still have quite a few more pictures to go through. Oh my goodness, look at this one here. Even presidents, ex-presidents, what have you, have the hidden hand gesture. It's an old gesture seen in old paintings of men living a long time ago. So this secret organization is as old as the Nephilim has been on this earth. And they love laughing because they have pulled the wool over the greater majority of people's eyes. I forgot what I was going to say here, so ignore that. They love laughing at the masses. And you see this one behind this one? Michelle, this is a man, clearly, named Michael. This is the man. This is definitely a man. That's why it has such a strong energy, strong masculine energy. This one is a male too, but that's all right because two male, that's what they love to do. All right, this is what they love to do. But the hidden hand, they're all part of the club. Okay, back to this group again. The bugs, the bugs, the crawling bugs, the beetles. Here we are again with the very young and influential beetles with their hidden hand. See, they're showing that their alliance. This is when they were very, very young, and they're showing their alliance, who they're working for, and what they're planning to do to cause the young people in that time to fall in love with them. And at the same time curse them. All right? Sign of the master of the second veil. That's what the Mason's hidden hand means. Okay, so now look at ancient pictures, right? This one is a picture of George Washington. This one was wicked to Karl Marx. I don't know this one, Frederick. Baron von Nig or Nij. This one is Napoleon, Joseph Stalin, and this other one here, Frederick. But people say, well, but Napoleon was never in Freemason. How would you know that? Right? How would you be privy to this information? This man has been dead for a long time now. Right? The fact that he's doing this pose here is letting us know that he was in the Masons. All right? Stop kidding yourselves. You love these people and you can't believe the truth about them. Some may try to convince you that this is just a pose and nothing more. Really? You think it's natural for you to want to stick your hand in your bosom? They don't have an itch. But this is a posture that they've taken because it means something to them and it means something to their masters. This is a gesture to anyone who understands, a clear gesture to anyone who understands what it means, which will be their own people. The common public are clueless to these things, and those who are in the know are called conspiracy theorists. So now people say, well, you're just a conspiracy theorist. You need to put on a tinfoil hat. But this is just to show you how far back these secret societies, because there are several of them, because there's a secret society within a secret society within a secret society. All right? And they're all part of them. They're branches of them. There's a male section, female section, right? But it goes all the way back. See George Washington? One of the presidents of the United States. He was a Freemason. Okay, now we're going to go to the next hand signal, the M. You see the rappers and the thugs with this signal, the M signal with the four fingers as seen in the pic. So this one here, this was a painting done by, I think it was Michelangelo. But the M is a nod to masonry. So you see how you have the forefinger and the pinky finger, but then you have the two middle fingers close together. And that makes the M signal, M for Mason. Same thing here with the Pope, or this looks like a bishop or something. This doesn't look like the Pope. But then again, it might be him. I don't know. But same hand signal here. You have the, yeah, it could be him because he wears that kind of garb. You have the fingers kind of opened up, but the two middle fingers, which would be the ring finger and the middle finger, are stuck together, right? Making the letter M. See it here in this old painting. And I used to see them a lot when I did art history many years ago. When you look at these paintings of these famous people, you see that same hand gesture. You have the forefinger pulled away from and the pinky finger pulled away from the two middle fingers. They're stuck together. And then we see here Hitler with the same pose. And then we see here this was the old Pope, Pope Benedict, with the same pose, also doing the hidden eye, the one eye. All right, and then you have here this not the latest Pope with the hidden hand. Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. Now, the hidden hand lets the other initiates know that the individual depicted is part of this secret brotherhood and that his actions were inspired by the Masonic philosophy and beliefs. Furthermore, the hand that executes the actions is hidden behind cloth, which can symbolically refer to covert nature of the Mason's actions. That's what I'm saying, sleight of hand. Don't look at this hand, look at the other hand. Sleight of hand trick. So you have here the hidden hand. The Jesuits are a military religious order of the Roman Catholic Church, Masonic and other oaths. And this one here came from the Jesuits. And I have here, how can this be a gang's hand gesture when it was done a long time ago? So this is not a gang's hand gesture. No way. Absolutely not. You see it clearly here now? This is the same painting that we saw that in the previous picture, previous slide. And look at here now. This is a modified M. Modified M. Look, you see the forefinger is separated from the two middle fingers, and the pinky finger is also separated. And you see it here. This one here has almost looks like this one here. It looks exactly, actually, it looks exactly like this rapper here. Forgot this one here. His name is called. I'm not into rap. Never was, never will be. But this one here, wearing a gun around its neck. I think this one got killed, if I'm not mistaken. But all of them, they have all these old paintings with the same hand gesture. This is not a West Coast gang signal, okay? This here is the same as this ancient man here. And look at the color of him compared to the color of him. He looked like he's from the time of the I forgot what they call these people here now. But ancient times. All right? The sheeple believe that it is a West Coast hand gesture used by their gangs. How is this even possible when these ancient creatures in these paintings are showing the same hand gestures? They look at this one, oh, Tupac. They look at this one here and think, oh, it's just a West Coast hand signal for the gangs in that area. When this one here, looking like one of those people that lived back in those days, not pioneer. I forgot the names. Well, yeah. Back in the way, when men used to wear long hair and whatnot. This one got the same hand signal, but only on one hand, but it doesn't matter. One hand, you only need it on one hand. Or you can do it on both. Right? So don't let anybody fool you and tell you that it's just a gang signal, and you go putting up the Masonic symbol. Oh my goodness, people need to wake up, honestly. So you have here more paintings with the West Coast gang hand signals. Yeah, two fingers together, Look, they're all like that. Two fingers together. This one looks like a female too. Two fingers together. That's what they all are. And these are old, old, old paintings from the 1500s. Oh my goodness. This is the King of England. This is from the Roman Catholic Church. It's the Prince of Orange. Orange. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. I don't know. All right, let's move on. Now we have the snake tongue, paying tribute to their snake god Satan, who came as a serpent to Hawa. They call her Eve, but that's not her real name. Her name is Hawa. And then this one here, this here is a male. I can't handle this one either. This one is as vile as vomit. And I'm not joking. Two horns there and sticking out its tongue. It does a lot worse. This is the one that was naked, sitting on a wrecking ball, with the exception of a pair of boots. And I also saw this one performing live on stage and showing, dressed in a costume that was almost flesh color and one piece sticking to its body like second skin. And then there was another person singing, wearing striped, black and white, by the way. And this one here presented itself to the male. And the action was deplorable because it was showing you a sexual act on stage without doing the actual act. This one here is a creature of darkness and wicked beyond wicked. And this one came out of Nickelodeon. A lot of them come out when they come out as children, right? When they come out as children, they come through Nickelodeon. This one came through Nickelodeon. You see the big forehead here? It's because it's a boy. This one is a boy. As vile as vomit. Can't handle this one here. Not at all. And then we see more of these people sticking out the tongue. As you can see that this tongue out is also a symbol and not just a stupid fad. Who walks around or take pictures with their tongue sticking out like this? It's not like boo-boo, whatever. This is it here. The same Miley. This is what it was doing on stage. See how it was bent forward? It was doing the same. This is that particular time when it performed that sexual looking act on stage with this male. In front of children, by the way. This one here. This is it here. Sticking out its tongue. This is Satan's sperm. Not sperm, sorry. Satan's seed. Satan's spawn. That was the word I was looking for. Satan's spawn. All right. Satan's spawn. And then there are other ones. This one here came through American Idol. I think this is that one. And people had loved her. And that she was so innocent and so sweet. So you see, even with these reality shows that they've put on American TV, in fact, all over the world now, right? Where they're claiming they're looking for hidden talent in the world. There's no hidden talent. These people, they focus their attention on particular people that they want to win, to make them sweethearts, and cause you to fall in love with them week after week after week. You tune in to watch American Idol. I know I used to do it too back in the day, but I stopped doing it a long time ago. Long time ago. Right? I stopped watching that garbage. But they get you to fall in love, and week after week, you sympathize, you empathize, and you kind of like, this is my favorite. I want to vote for them. You call in, you spend your money to vote for them, wasting your money because they already know who they're going to cause, who is going to be the winner. The next idol to fool the masses, to deceive the masses. And this one was it. This one here. This one is it. This one here looks familiar. I can't remember we've seen this one before. But they are unbelievable. And now this one here, so-called genius that call himself Einstein. Does this look like a genius? This one here is suspect too. I cannot swear that this is a female. This is a male. Oh, does not look like a male anyway. I saw other pictures of it and it just has the wrong body shape. Anyways, but this is supposed to be a genius, right? Not so. Does it look like a genius with its tongue looking like that? Yuck. Oh, I forgot to read what it, even the so-called genius Einstein is clowning the masses. Clowning the masses. You're supposed to be a genius. Look at you. You look like a clown. Okay, this is the other one, the one that I was telling you about. You see, it got a tattoo on its finger called shh, quiet, code of silence. I will not speak. This one here is definitely a male. Look at the brow ridge. It has a very strong brow ridge here. Yeah. And yeah, there's a lot of things about this one that screams male. And the purple lips and the code of silence. So purple, they have their, let me read it here. These creatures also have their color codes which they use. They like purple, orange, blue, and red. That's why the presidents, especially of the US, they wear either blue or red, not because it's Republican or Democrat or what have you. It's not because of the red and blue pill. It's because those are their colors. And this one's sporting the purple lips and telling you, shh, I'm not going to tell the secrets that I know. I don't know. This one is just a picture that came with this one. So ignore this one. I don't know who this one is. But yeah, this one here, I can't handle this one here at all either. It is demonic, evil, definitely the spawn of Satan. And now we come to the black-eyed club. I'm telling you, when you start digging deep into this stuff, oh my goodness, it would just blow your mind, right? Many celebrities sport this black eye because it is what they receive from a high-level initiation satanic ritual. They talk about soul swapping. But these creatures do not have souls to begin with, but rather to go higher in their organization, they have to invoke more demons to themselves, to possess them, to be possessed with a greater number of evil spirits. So I would think that they, like a common folk that they've pulled off the street, that have decided, okay, yeah, I'm going to sell my soul, right? Yeah, I can see that happening. But when you look at these people here, right? The greater majority of them are satanic to the core. They have Nephilim bloodline. Like this one here. This one was married to the queen. This one is as demonic as they come. Demonic. This is one here said that when it dies, it's coming back as a deadly disease. Look at it. It looks like a deadly disease. This one here and its wife, the queen, used to go anyway. Used to do a lot of wicked things with children. This one here, and there was a person or persons that file a lawsuit in the international court against these ones here for all the wickedness that it did against a particular tribe of Indians. They used to go and collect the children, and you never see the children after that. This one here. This one here. Wicked, evil. But it's all gone now. And here's the Pope again, the Pope with a black eye. Right? And you know this is Kenya. This one here. Yeah, black eye. So when you see it acting weird, this is the reason why. Because of the different demons that come out. This is Affleck. This here is a president. One of the presidents. Vice president, sorry. I think this one was a vice president too. All with the black eye. This one here, oh my goodness, this one is an actor. Robert Downey play as Iron Man. This one here, can you imagine? All these are demons, demonic. I don't know who this one is. And this one here, I remember this from back in the 80s. Used to call itself, it didn't have facial hair at the time, but it used to dress up like a woman and put on makeup and used to dress in these funky colors and different hats and everything. Used to be part of a club, a part of a group, a singing group, culture club. This is one, and then it broke away and became its own person. Again, I was a fan. I would confess. I used to think that, oh, he looks kind of unusual but unique, you know, not realizing that they were trying to program me. I'm offended. I'm deeply offended. Seriously. I am so deeply offended. This is the Bushman here with a bruised eye. Can you imagine? Yeah, all these presidents, ex presidents, actors, singers. I think this one, I don't know if this one is Madonna. I think this one is Elizabeth Hurley. This one's an actor. I've seen this one around. I can't remember this one's name. This one here is what's this one called? Adam Sandler, that comes across as this sweet guy in acting. He came through Saturday Night Live. I remember when he was in Saturday Night Live. That's how they program. This is how they bring them out and break them loose through all these different television shows and what have you. Yeah, all of them. Unbelievable. But they have these black eyes for a reason. It's not a coincidence. I know this one here claimed that it fell or something, or make up some stupid excuse because it was going on an interview and suddenly it had this black eye and made up some sort of excuse. And here it is again. I think this one is Elizabeth Hurley. I'm not sure. And this is the George man, looking as grotesque as ever, you know. And here is showing you both male and female together in one body. And look, this this is the current pope with a big black eye. I guess the bigger the black eye, the more demons. This one is definitely possessed, though. Definitely. They're all possessed, right? Not only are they the bloodline, but they're also possessed with spirits, right? That's how it goes. But this one here reminds me of a woman who, I think she's from a different culture. I can't remember which one, Indian or something. But she grows facial hair like this. And she decided, I'm not cutting this off. I'm not shaving this. I'm just going to keep it and be a lady with a beard. And this is what she looks like, this woman. So this is what they're promoting as well. You know, men to look men to look feminine and women to look masculine. Wicked people. Wicked, evil people. Now we move on to the Red String Club. See people with red strings around their wrist. The Red String Kabbalah Club. Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism, or they call it Jewish mysticism, and its members wear this red string around their wrist. Again, this is showing their alliance to their satanic clubs. We have Madonna, Putin, of all, the Bear Club countryman, got his red string. Even this one here he used to be on Fox, Tucker. And then you have Ivanka, and this one here from the island, Barbados, Rahana. Yeah, all of them wicked together. All of them. All of them. This is one with the purple lipstick and the tattoo on the finger. Shh, I'm not going to tell any secrets. I'm not going to tell your secrets. And this one here is Pepper. This one was from Iron Man, named Pepper. The role that it played was Pepper. See what's on its hand? Same thing. You see, you get to fall in love with these people because on the screen they come across as so lovable and normal. And then when you look deep down, or you scrape away the surface, you find that they are devils. They're all actors on the world stage, paid to deceive the masses. And then you have Leonardo, the invert, is also a member of this satanic club. This is the one that I was talking about. You see the widow's peak? Yeah, this here is definitely a female. Don't worry that it has facial hair, because a woman can grow facial hair if they take the right chemicals. You know what I'm talking about, right? They can. I've seen it when they want to invert themselves. They start to take the male stuff, and then they start to grow facial hair, and they look just like this, like a pretty boy, very pretty boy. This here is a male. Sorry, this is a female. Short arms and everything, small hands. Yeah, definitely a female. And now we come to, oh no, please don't tell me that MJ is also a member. Really? This is an invert, by the way. This is definitely an invert. Um, and it's not even dead. Just changed its costume. Remember when it used to look like that little boy with dark skin? All of a sudden it looked like this. Wearing one layer of latex over another. Over and over and over. Changing its latex covering. That's what they do, If you think that these people don't know how to wear masks in public to fool you, unbelievable. But everybody loved this one, call it the king of pop and what have you. But king was a queen. Listen, if you doubt me, go and look at younger picture of this one. It used to take a lot of pictures of itself. And you would notice that it did not have a package. And that's how you know for sure it didn't have. And the fact that, you remember when it's dancing, it's always guiding your eyes to its crotch area, and will grab itself, because it is subliminal. It is um, telling you on a subliminal level, on a subconscious level, that I'm a man because I'm grabbing my crotch, because that's what men sometimes do, right? And if I'm grabbing it there, then something must be there for me to grab, right? So it's all subliminal. I remember back in the 80s, was it the 80s? Yes, back in the 80s, or was it the early 90s? I think it was the early 90s, when it came out with its this debut single, and it did a video, and I watched it, and it was tap dancing on the roof of a car, and you should see it was 100 times it grabbed its crotch. I'm not joking. To the point where it like pulled up the zipper in slow motion, guiding your attention there without you really even thinking about, okay, you know, and sending a subliminal message to your subconscious. I'm a male. So that you believe that it's a male. All these are surgeries that it did to its face to make its jawline square, because it never had one. It never had a jawline like a male. This was all the operation that it did. Some of the many operations that it did. And look, it's showing you the red string. I'm part of the club, guys. I'm here to deceive you. Not joking. Let's move on to another one that everybody loves. Wearing what? The pit man. wearing the mason ring. All right? It's wearing the mason ring because it is all part of the club. These people are evil and they're wicked. All right? Don't let them don't let your desire to keep them as an idol overwhelm the truth. Let the truth sink in. Be appalled and be disgusted because they're there to trick you. They're there to fool us and to deceive us. Because this one is married to a man, the stringy looking one that have all these children from different races and what have you. This one here, that's a man. I remember years ago, I was always disgusted by, I think, Jolie. That's the last name. I was always disgusted by it. This is before it was married to him. And it was on stage, and I think it was receiving a reward from its, I think the brother gave it the reward, and it kissed the brother on the lips. And you see, some people were like laughing, other people were like, ah, you hear that, because it was a romantic kiss. And right there, you see that creature was trying to break the ice into incestuous activity. You see, hear what Alahayam said about the Moabites and the Ammonites? All right. Now, this one here, of course, they have to include their modern day giant in the club for a job well done for fooling the masses. And this one here, basketball. See how tall it is compared to these men here? These men here are average height. And look at how many inches above these men this one is. Probably like 6'7", 6'8". Right? And wearing the apron of what? The masons. Because this one is a mason. It was always a mason. It didn't just come into it. It was always a mason. I remember this one was doing some sports forecasting with some other people, and he had on the ring. And they asked him, oh, why? Look at that ring. It's full of bling blings, right? Diamonds and what have you. What's that all about? Oh, this is my other job. This is my other job. Like, okay. And there it is. The diamond-studded satanic ring. And sporting the S right here on the chest for Satan. This is the God it serves, wearing its ring. Many of our people love this one and still do. It was brought on the scene for such a purpose. Everybody loved this one. There was this one, and then there was Jordan, the Jordan one. There's Shaq, and then there's Jordan. People love these two. This one surprised me a little bit because this was one of my favorite actors back in the day when I used to be in used to watch movies and stuff. So they're not afraid anymore to let you know who they are. They know that for the most part, the people are actually sheeple. So I can wear my ring in public now. I don't have to be ashamed. I don't have to be afraid. We don't have to hide anymore. But this one here, weird, a kind of strange actor. And it is strange only because it brought a different flair to acting. But as you can see, it is one of them. Look at the ring. Ring right here. Now this one here, it says here, rest in peace, Neil Armstrong, but this is really Buzz Aldrin, not Neil Armstrong. And this is another devil worshiper that people idolized as an astronaut that never went anywhere but to a Hollywood studio to shoot the best lie it ever told. They never went up in space. That's ridiculous. We are under a dome. No one walked on the moon. It is a lie. Now we see the truth as it is sporting its demonic ring to show you who it was working for. You see? This is the ring it's wearing. Satanic ring. All part of the deception to cause us to believe in a lie that there is such a thing as space and space travel and planets and aliens and what have you. all ridiculous. And people like this one here help to promote this lie. This one and the same Armstrong, all of them. First man that walked the earth, walked the moon, Armstrong. This one is the second. And they even brought out a children's book. I think it's called Toy Story. And the astronaut in the Toy Story children's show is about this one here, Buzz. Celebrating him. My. Look at some of the sold out brothers in this satanic meeting. This is all Freemason, by the way. Some of them are of the bloodline. And you see this one here? This is JC. And some are suckers for a lie, thinking that this is the way to become rich and successful in this life. By the shake of a hand, a business transaction can be made to make a person very wealthy. And no one loves money more than our brethren, the Negroes. Look at them. All the Negroes in here. And some of them are here because they're suckers. And others are here because they're the offspring. Unbelievable. For the record, even in this satanic Mason organization, the furthest a black man can go is 33rd degree, while the white man can go to the highest degree, which is the 33rd and a 3rd degree. You see, even in Masonry, they're segregated as well. They don't allow a black person to go up too high. And I use the word black because not all dark-skinned people are Negroes. All right? I don't want to put all the blame on our people. You got Africans that are Negro, Edomites that are Negro, all kinds of people. Negroes, they have that looking dark skin, that looks like a Negro. So we can't blame it all on the Negroes. So let's just say black. Let's be politically incorrect. Right? So there's black man. A black man can only go to 33rd degree. They will never reach to the top. And yet these, people are here trying to make it in with these people. And look who we have here. Even the royalty. And by the way, all of the royalty, Charles, all the Queen, all of them are all Masons. And this one always sport the hand in the jacket kind of thing also. But look at it in full regalia. And this one here, this is a boy. This is not a female. This is a male. A small male. And this one here, well, who knows? Because they invert them from youth. Anyways. And here's the handshake. And these Masons, they have their special handshakes. So be careful how you shake another man's hand, right? Masons have their handshakes in which to identify themselves with strangers who may be Masons too, or to greet one another with their handshake, even if they know one another. So the handshake is an introduction to let you know, I am like you are. So it's this particular type of handshake. You have the thumb on top of the knuckle of the first finger. And this is, who is this? The Pope that retired. This one here. And this is the last picture. And this is that witch, that Dion witch that came up with a clothing line for children. And we're trying to remove the pink and the blue. No longer sporting pink or blue. All black and white. We end with the wicked witch of the West who is changing baby clothing to gender neutral and satanic at that. Look at the crosses. They are actually unfolded cubes. And you know who the cubes represent? The worship of Saturn. This is what this one promotes. It's a witch. You should see pictures of it now. Extraordinarily evil looking. Looks like an old hag ready to be buried. Evil and demonic. You see, this is what evil does to them. As they get older, they really look like old witches. All that is missing is a wart at the end of their nose. All that's missing is a wart at the end of their nose. That's all that's missing. Oh my goodness, these people, unbelievable. We have done an exhaustive research about the modern day Nephilim offspring that are roaming this earth today, influencing many people to be like them, to commit their abominations. But this is the beginning of the end of this abominable bloodline, as Allah Hayam Yahweh will destroy them all off the face of this earth. He has already begun to bring his judgments. Now all that is needed is for him to complete these judgments against this fallen race, to cast them all in the lake of fire forevermore. In the meanwhile, anyone who affiliates with these creatures, marry them and have children by them, worship their gods and commit their abominable acts will also be destroyed. Now I know the common folk, they're not in the same arena as these actors, these entertainers, politicians, or what have you. But there's still many of their own bloodline that are mixed in with the common folk. All right? They're still mixed in. That's why he said, Yashraal, don't marry other nations. Marry your own. And marry someone who's awakened to their to who they are and following Allah Hayam and worshiping him and following his commandments. That's how you know. Nephilim bloodline does not want anything to do with Allah Hayam. They will go and follow Jesus. They will go and follow Christ. They'll go and follow any other God, but not Allah Hayam. All right. Allah Hayam is giving mankind that he had created the opportunity to repent for their evil deeds, but to take on the serpent's bloodline is unforgivable. We have already discussed this method of being contaminated by this evil bloodline through the jabs because of fear and ignorance. We have noticed that this bloodline is an ancient bloodline which have been around before the flood and afterwards. That's why these people have been around for so long. And they're so well connected with each other in all different countries. They're all related. I kid you not. They're connected genetically, biologically, however which way you want to look at it. They're connected. They have the bloodline. And they know each other too. They have their networks of organizations. So they know who belongs to them. They have proven themselves to be powerful indeed, as they utilize many different evil tactics to exact the required and necessary effects they desire in order to promote their agendas and narratives. They have been studying us for a very long time, and so they know just what tools to use, whether fear-mongering, deception, or programming. They know just what to use and when to use it. They have all their actors in place, and these same actors have won the hearts of many people, many sheeple, by the way, sheeple. Now all that is needed is permission from Ha'ola Yawan to carry out their next major agenda against the masses. That's all they're waiting for. They're putting out signals here, signals there. Oh, this is coming, but they can't carry it out as they want to, right? Because Allah Hayam is withholding them. He's withholding them because he's getting ready to regather the southern kingdom, and nothing else is going to be rolled out to the degree in which it was rolled out in 2020. Oh no, not to that degree. They're going to come with something, but not to that degree. We, the chosen of Allah Hayam Yahweh, have to remain diligently in prayer and watching for the signs that will indicate to us when it is time to be regathered. We need to stay out of the way and not get emotionally involved in the lies and deception. Just know it for what it is. Just know that it's a lie. It is deception. Just know that's what it is. We know their tactics. We know how these creatures operate. Nothing that they do should come as a surprise anymore. Their agendas will not be a surprise for us as long as we stay in the presence of Allah Hayam. And we need to stay in the ark where it is safe. You see, they have the power to bring deception, to darken the minds of people. They have that power. But they don't have the power over the people of Allah Hayam who dwells in his presence, because we have the light. Light is powerful and it will destroy the darkness. So that's why I am inviting you, I'm encouraging you, I am strongly encouraging you to get in the presence of Allah Hayam, to make sure that you're always filling up your lamp with oil so that you can burn that oil and produce light that is so bright that the darkness can't come near you. All right? Psalm 4, verse 8. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. For you, Yahweh, only make me dwell in safety. So we have to end with scripture. We began with scripture, we end with scripture because of all these demonic things that we just looked at. All right? I know some people are going to have a field day. They're going to be upset or offended or what have you. That's all right. The truth always offends. When Hamashiach spoke, it offended many people because he came with the truth. All right? And with that, I will call this the end of this part. But there's no part, but this particular study. We're going to start the next study, which will be the final. It's called the final fall of the giants called the Nephilim. We're going to end with that in the next study. So we're going to read the blessing for Yashwa'al taken from Madabar chapter 6 verses 24 to 26. That's Numbers chapter 6 verses 24 to 26. Yabarakak Yahweh wa Yashamarak. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. Ya'ar Yahweh panayo alayak wa yahanak. May Yahweh cause his face to shine upon you and have favor upon you. Yasha'a Yahweh panayo alayak wa yasham lak shalawat. May Yahweh lift up his face upon you and give you peace. And now I'm going to recite the command that we ought to be reciting when we lie down, when we get up, when we go out, and when we come in. And it's taken from the Barayam chapter 6 verses 4 and 5, Deuteronomy chapter 6 verses 4 and 5. Shama'o Yashwa'al, Yahweh Allah Hayana, Yahweh Ahad, wa Ahabath Ath, Yahweh Allah Hayak, Bakal Babak, Ubakal Napashat, Ubakal Ma'adak. Hear, O Yashwa'al, Yahweh our Allah Hayam is one Yahweh, and you shall love Yahweh your Allah Hayam with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And with that, I will say, Shalom, Shalom, all praises to the Most High, Abba Yah.